Trump and his team have made little amendments, little fixes to what a lot of people who think that there is something to be gained from this class action lawsuit. It addresses a lot of their concerns, okay, because there wasn't really a good distinction as to who the classes are, what they could be joining for, and it appears they have kind of cleared that up a little bit. But again, this kind of just fits into the entire line of Trump having the best of intentions, but then not knowing how to put the right people in place and taking bad advice. So is this lawsuit going to go anywhere? I hope so. But then you also got that added factor of the courts. So it's a little touch and go, I suppose. Trump amends big tech lawsuit as 65,000 Americans submit censorship stories. Tough word to say. It's one of those things where I remember back in the day, you guys remember the whole host of affidavits that were signed by different people who've seen different things during the presidential election. There were hundreds of them, just about thousands of them, and they didn't matter at all. So 65,000 does seem like a big number, but then at the same time, does that really matter to the courts? Mostly because the name Trump is at the top of the lawsuit. Who knows? Who knows? Again, I'm holding out hope because always the eternal optimist, but then at the same time, I don't think so. I don't think so. Former President Donald Trump's legal team has amended his class action lawsuit against big tech to incorporate additional class representatives and more censorship stories provided by everyday Americans, according to America First Policy Institute. Trump's July 7th lawsuit against Facebook, Twitter, and Google is adding additional censorship experiences. They need to tell their truth from some of the nearly 65,000 people who submitted them to the Institute late last night. Amended complainants were filed in the big tech lawsuits against Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter, Jack Dorsey, Google, and Sundar Pichai. Naming names and calling motherfuckers out. I like it. AFPI said in a July 28th statement since the initial filing on July 7th, 2021, nearly 65,000 people have submitted their stories of censorship through the America First Policy Institute Congressional Litigation Partnership. Needs a bigger name, okay? AFP-SILP. The acronym needs a little work as well. At takeonbigtech.com. Oh my god. Who did they hire? Ezra Levant to run your fucking website? 3 people get that joke. Trump said at a July 7th press conference outlining his plans for a legal action that he expected thousands of people would join his lawsuit. Several people invited to speak at the press conference shared their experiences on what they said amounted to censorship by social media platforms. Joining us this morning are just a few of the many Americans who have been legally or illegally banned. There's nothing legal about what these people do. They're evil. They're sick. They need to be held to account. These people that we have up here, they're great people, the greatest people. I want to represent them. I want to give them justice. I want to make sure that these big tech corporations, the censorship that is happening, finally ends or silenced under the corrupt regime of censorship, Trump said at the time. AFPI said in a statement that Trump's amended complaint includes additional censorship experiences and incorporates additional class representatives, including Dr. Naomi Wolf. She worked for the Clinton administration. She's a big lefty online, and she was immediately having buyer's remorse for Biden. And Wayne Allen Root. I don't know who that is, but the name does sound familiar. Individuals on opposite ends of the political spectrum who highlight the bipartisan need to protect the thoughts and the voices of all Americans, regardless of political affiliation. Very much so, because I don't agree with a lot of things a lot of people say. Do they still have the right to say them? Of course. Do I have the right to criticize them for what they say? Of course. So, I think that's what, most good faith people want. But unfortunately, that's not really what we're dealing with anymore. Most people just, instead of wanting to engage in some sort of a fact-finding mission, they just want to censor you. And unfortunately, those are the people that are at the controls. So, like I said, I really hope that Trump's lawsuit goes somewhere. I'm just, of course, always skeptical because courts hate Trump. Lollapalooza. Once again, we talked about it in the first video. Yeah, the first video of the day. There was supposed to be another artist that was up there. Like I said, I didn't know what the fucking lineup for Lollapalooza is. I wouldn't like to go because most modern artists I either don't know or make me physically ill, so why would I waste thousands of dollars and be subject to secondhand fucking skunky pot or inadvertently get jabbed by something that's not a coof needle and then end up running afoul of DaBaby Why would you pick that name? Okay, you're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to be hard. Your body's all covered in fucking tattoos, and you go by DaBaby. DaBaby? It's supposed to be DaBaby, but they'll just call him DaBaby because I find that a lot more funny. But yeah, he was cancelled off of Lollapalooza after rapper's stage banter mentions HIV and gay sex. Based. Rapper DaBaby was cut Sunday from Lollapalooza's closing lineup following crude remarks he made last week in a Miami area music festival. It wasn't even at Lollapalooza. It wasn't even overheard backstage. It was something he said, what, a fucking week ago in a state that's like thousands of miles away. Good job. Cancel culture rules, right, guys? I don't know what this guy sounds like on stage. I don't really care. But the fact that he's making just hilarious remarks like this that would be locker talk between the boys somewhat 30 years ago, I don't really care. Grammy-nominated artist whose name is Jonathan Kirk. I can see why you went with a stage name. I'm just saying Jonathan Kirk doesn't necessarily inspire any fear. It mostly just sounds like the motherfucker would come down and fix the Xerox if there was anything acting up. Had been scheduled as a closing act. Again, this is why Lollapalooza is much, much more the lol part than the palooza. Organizers tweeted Sunday that rapper Young Thug, get more creative. It's like, yeah, we're gangbangers. What's his name? DaBaby, okay? And what's his name? Young Thug. Workshop that shit a little bit harder. Would perform at 9 p.m. instead. Lollapalooza was founded on diversity, inclusivity, respect, love, unprotected sex, spilt beer, and pot stench. Okay. Organizers wrote, with that in mind, DaBaby will no longer be performing at Grant Park tonight. That sucks. What did he say while on stage? Rapper called out members of the LGBTQ community. Oh no. Another black guy talking about not lining up to help out the LGBT community? Wow, color me surprised. And people with HIV and AIDS. Using crude language, he asked attendees who weren't gay men or people affected by HIV or AIDS to raise their cell phone flashlights. And he incorrectly said the disease would make you die in 2 or 3 weeks. Wow, if he was saying anything about, any of you motherfuckers hold up your light if you ain't got the coof. Then he went on to make that statement, something that I can't even fucking finish my joke on fucking YouTube over. If he would have made those accusations about that, yeah, I could see him getting canceled for several other things, but that's at least a statement that, him and Anthony Fauci would have seen eye to eye on, like 88 or 89, so. Now, if he goes on to talk about how AIDS is spread via the air, I'll laugh my balls off. DaBaby representatives didn't immediately reply to email seeking comment. A person who answered the phone on Sunday told him, hang up, motherfucker. I don't know, hopefully it turns it into a diss track. That'd be fucking hilarious. Oh, and then over on YouTube. Yeah. More canceling, censorship, suppression, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The same shit, different day. YouTube suspends Sky News Australia. Not a small outlet, and probably when it comes to legacy media, the most based outlet, okay? It's not like Sky News UK. Sky News Australia is one of those mainstream outlets that actually has right-leaning takes, which means that they're at least fair and kind of comedic and entertaining somewhat. So they're gone because they said something contrary to the coof. This is why I have to fucking tread on goddamn eggshells. Sky News Australia has been temporarily suspended by YouTube for videos that the Google-owned video service claims violated its COVID-19 policies. How? I'm sure they got a very detailed description how they run afoul of that. The 24-hour news channel owned by News Corp, which also owns The Post, saw its YouTube account go dark on Thursday after a review of the page's content allegedly unveiled videos denying the existence of COVID-19 and encouraging people to use untested experimental drugs, to treat the virus without context. Something that you guys know who you are. Okay, you've been lighting up certain comment sections, just saying things that have worked for you that I cannot describe here. You know who you are, you know what you've recommended, and it's something that I might have to take off platform to discuss because it's important and that information should be out there. It just can't be on YouTube because they follow the science. Sky News Australia acknowledges YouTube's right to enforce its policies and looks forward to continuing to publish fucking betas its popular news and analysis content to its subscribers shortly. They're off for a week. I guess they would have already got their warning probably for saying something equally useful, running afoul of YouTube and then getting another strike. So supposed to be off for a week. I guess that would have started yesterday, or because Australia is funny, the day before. So maybe they'll be back like Friday or Saturday or some early morning. But then again, you can also see how mainstream media just wants to glob onto YouTube because they see it as the future. They effectively killed off the TV model, them and the help of many other forces, but they're just going to cannibalize YouTube, and we're just going to have to start building up other platforms. It sucks. It sucks that they got censored, and it sucks that they don't really want to fight back against it, because you don't really want to bite the hand that feeds you, especially when they start pushing out content in the suggested feed, you know, next to anybody who speaks the type of language I do. You see it there. If it's not Fox News, it's Sky News Australia. So if you don't see them for a while, that's probably why. But that's a good wrap up for the day. Hopefully you guys had a great day, and I will catch you all tomorrow, of course. Thank you all very much once again for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.